This episode is brought to you by National Geographic, presenting its new documentary film, Endurance. Follow the greatest survival story ever told, unpacking the legendary feat of polar explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton, who kept his crew alive for over a year, despite losing their ship in frigid pack ice. Over a century later, a team of modern-day explorers set out to find the sunken ship. Endurance, now streaming on Hulu and Disney+.
Hey, it's me, the Quenchies. I'm that late afternoon craving you just can't shake. Wait, what's that? Welch's Grape Aid? No! Made with real fruit and no added sugar, nothing answers the call of the Quenchies like Grape Aid. Got the Quenchies? Grab a Grape Aid in your juice aisle.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily. 4 Big Mistakes Parents Make When They Talk About Death by Shelby Forsythia of shelbyforsythia.com. Most children are exposed to the reality of death before they graduate elementary school. When a pet, relative, or friend of the family dies, it's an important opportunity to teach kids about one of life's biggest truths. Unfortunately, death is a topic where parents often fail to provide direct, honest information to their children. Here are 4 big mistakes parents make when they talk about death. Number 1. They use euphemisms. Have you heard the story about the little boy whose grandmother died? His mother told him, "Honey, it's okay. The angels just came and took her away." He said, "I'm angry at the angels. Tell them to bring her back." And his poor mother, as we know, couldn't. Children take things very literally. They are not able to process euphemisms like adults, and as a result, take words about death very seriously. Beware of phrases like, "they went to sleep" / "we put her to sleep," "they're in heaven now," or "they'll always be here watching us." Using euphemisms to describe death creates more questions for kids and doesn't honestly answer the question, what happened? Kids might also be afraid to go to sleep, ask to travel to heaven so they can visit a dead relative or pet, or become nervous that someone is always watching them. Using euphemisms also applies to jokes like, "I guess Pawpaw didn't eat his broccoli / watched too much TV / was allergic to Aunt Marge." Instead, tell the truth about the death with age-appropriate details. This gives children the answers they crave, plus the opportunity to ask questions if they want to know more. Examples: "Honey, Bailey was crossing the street and got hit by a car." "Pawpaw had a heart attack." "Miss Lucy died, baby." Number 2. They offer to replace the loss. This mostly applies to pet loss, i.e., "don't worry, we'll get you a new dog," but can also apply to people, i.e., "it's okay, you've got me and Grandma and Daddy here to love you." Parents are well-intended when they offer to replace a loss. Their goal is usually to shift a child's focus from death to a new / different relationship, generally a more positive one. But what that does is teaches children that pets and people are replaceable, and that one love can be substituted for another. In reality, all relationships are unique and different, and no matter what kind of support system they have in place, children still need to grieve the person or pet who died. Instead, ask kids what they liked, disliked, or will miss about their relationships. This is called relationship review, and gives children the opportunity to express their feelings. Examples: "Tulips remind me of our neighbor, Jack. Remember when you got to plant flowers with him?" "Did you like sitting on Grandpa's lap? What will you miss about him?" "Remember the time Macy tore up your favorite pair of socks?" Number 3. They tell instead of ask. When death occurs, it's easy for parents to go into dictate mode. They tell kids whether or not they will be going to the hospital or funeral, whether or not they are allowed to interact with certain family members, or whether or not it's okay to talk about Grandma now that she's gone. While it's normal and understandable to want to keep gruesome details of death from children, when it comes to making plans after a death, it's better to ask than to tell. If your kids are old enough to remember the person or pet who has died, they are old enough to make some decisions about the part they want to play in honoring their memory. Instead, ask kids where they want to be during a funeral ceremony. If you are doing the ceremony yourself, death of a pet, ask your child how they want to honor their pet. Provide details when you can, using reference points they can understand. Examples: A funeral is like a church service where we will remember Uncle Hank's life and get to say goodbye to him. We wear our Sunday clothes and sit quietly with our family. Some people may cry because they are sad Uncle Hank is gone. Would you like to go with me and your mom? Or would you like to stay in the chapel with your cousins? It's up to you. Your older brother wants to stand up and sing during great-grandma's burial. Would you like to stand with him? You don't have to sing if you don't want to. Skippy has a disease that makes life painful for him. The vet is going to give him a special shot and he will die. He will not be in pain, but it will be sad for all of us. Would you like to come with us to say goodbye? We can bring his favorite blanket if you want. If you don't want to, you can say goodbye at home before we go. Number 4. They don't say anything at all. We've all seen a depiction of a room full of black-clad adults, talking quietly while children tug at their sleeves or their skirts, only to be brushed away. Kids know something is going on, but no one will tell them what. This may have been your reality as a child. Silence is one of the surest ways to isolate children and make death seem scary, dangerous, or shameful. Tragic deaths like the death of a child, a suicide, or a drunk driving accident are often spoken about late at night in whispered tones out of the earshot of the children. But kids know when the truth is being hidden from them. And being silent about death doesn't prevent kids from learning about it. It just ensures that kids will get their information about death and dying elsewhere. Instead, first acknowledge that your silence surrounding death is the result of how you learned about death. It is not your fault, but it is important to know and to change so you can equip your children with this vital life lesson. Second, talk. If you can't talk, ask your kids, what do you want to know? This will give you a starting point from which to answer. Examples. When kids want to know why all of their relatives are visiting, but it's not a fun trip, Aunt Alice and the kids are coming over because Daddy's mom died, and they are all very sad. It's important for them to be together right now. When kids want to know why people are wearing black, or another color depending on your customs, we wear black to show people that we are sad Cousin Sammy has died. It's a way of honoring her memory. When kids ask why their pet isn't moving, honey, Luke is no longer alive, so he's not breathing or standing up. If you have already done one or more of these things in regard to a death your child has experienced, don't panic. There are always opportunities to bring up the concept of death and present different, more complete information to your children. Here are some teachable moments to talk about death. 1. When watching movies. Just this past year, Moana, Sing, and Kubo and the Two Strings address death in pretty big ways. Moana's grandmother dies, Buster Moon's father dies, and both of Kubo's parents are killed. Number 2. When your pet brings home a present, if it's not too gory. Use the words dead or died to describe a bird, gopher, or mouse your pet has killed. Notice with your kids that its eyes are closed, it is not breathing, and it is not moving. These are physical signs of death. Number 3. When taking a walk outside. Nature gives us some great examples of death via flowers, trees, and seasons. While eyes, breathing, and movement will not apply, it's a great way to teach that all living things will eventually die. It also reminds us that death is not all bad, and that it's a perfectly natural life event. Parents are responsible for teaching their children about death. While it's not one of life's happier lessons, i.e. how to ride a bike, how to scramble eggs, how to tie your shoes, it's extremely important and impacts how kids view and respond to death for the rest of their lives. Children are monkey see, monkey do, and will learn to cope however parents teach them to. It's up to parents to be honest, direct, and truthful about what death means and how it makes them feel. Kids are far more impacted by the absence of truth than by the truth itself. If you are a parent, know that your words matter, and your kids are listening. You just listened to the post titled, 4 Big Mistakes Parents Make When They Talk About Death, by Shelby Forsythia of shelbyforsythia.com.
This episode is brought to you by Vuori. Give the active people in your life something they'll truly appreciate. Performance apparel from Vuori. Whether they're into running, surfing, hiking, or even just casual walks around the block, there's something for everyone. And if you're not sure what to gift them, you can't go wrong with something from Vuori's Dream Knit collection. It's the perfect gift and so comfortable. Get 20% off your first purchase today at Vuori, VUORI.com/Spotify.
Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
This year, Santa's bringing the power of Energizer into his workshop.
Whoa, the Energizer Bunny's got so much power.
Wait, he's powered up all the toys. I think that means we're done for the year.
I love this bunny.
He's the hardest working helper the North Pole has ever seen. And he wants all your gifts to have the power of the #1 longest lasting AA battery. So this holiday season, stock up on Santa's and the elves' favorite battery, Energizer Ultimate Lithium.
All right, and a wonderful post by Shelby today. This urge many parents default to about instilling fantasy or sugarcoating things like this for their children is really a bit useless. Of course, there are extenuating circumstances in which you can err on the side of gentleness, but do not undersell your ability to break through your own pain and deliver tough messages in a way that's honest rather than unfit for children. It's a great skill that will enhance both of your abilities to communicate about life's never-ending assembly line of difficult times. So on that less than cheerful but very realistic note, let's wrap up today's episode, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining me today and listening through the end. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again tomorrow for both our regularly scheduled episode and our Sunday bonus episode. That's where your optimal life awaits.